E3 2015 is coming very shortly. It's also been close to a year since Nintendo have first announced their newest IP, Splatoon. You know, Nintendo gets a lot of heat when milking a certain franchise every year, yet here we are having two new IPs, a new Star Fox game in over 9 years, and while Mario Maker is indeed a Mario game, the main series has not had a title for over 2 years now. So yes, some of Nintendo's biggest franchises like Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon are probably not going to get a new game in the main series this year. Splatoon fills in that void and more. My initial reaction to the first trailer was a weird idea that Nintendo was partnering up with Nickelodeon. That wasn't the case, but you probably should have had chosen a different color, guys. The answer to how this new IP works is that Splatoon is Nintendo's own shooter, a third-person shooter to be precise. I had my fun playing the popular shooters today, more specifically Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2, and Black Ops. But after so many years, this series got stale. Nothing was interesting for what they have left. At least here, Splatoon takes that familiar genre and adds a twist to it. You play as a kid and turns into a squid. Not sure if Nintendo was thinking about this idea clearly, but it did not take long for those who were moving to another direction. Online multiplayer is known as Turf Wars. You always have a team of 4 against another. The goal isn't mainly getting kills. You could do that, but that just helps slow down the opposing team. Instead, your goal is to get as much of your team's ink on the territory as possible. Whoever gets the most ink by the end of the game wins it for the team. Such nice looking ink too. You're covering very rusty areas with color, and the two colors during the game always has a peculiar contrast. That does sound like Nintendo utilizing color effectively. That's not all though, you can also transform into a squid so you can traverse through the ink you created. This adds so much possibilities to the level design, seeing that there are higher areas to reach and different pathways to swim through. You can even launch yourself towards a desired spot using the gamepad. So say if you die, you can either start at the spawn point to cover your own turf, or launch to the area you left off at. Keep this in mind that the main meat of Splatoon's appeal is an always online experience. They had a demo recently, and the second time I played it, getting an online match was just wishful thinking. It never happened. Connections were great though, since I've purchased the game, so at least the servers are fine. However, if you feel as though you do not have a proper internet connection, your best bet is a price drop, or at the very least get yourself a wired connection. I would like it if we were able to make a community rooms and post replays like in Mario Kart 8. You never know, there might be updates for that. I won't go into too much detail on the weapons, but the splatter shot is my go-to weapon of choice. It is a shooter game after all. The charger I hardly see anyone use, if only because of the firing rate, and the roller is great for covering ground. I remember hearing how overpowered the roller was. It does one-shot any foe you bulldoze through, but I think the new added levels, sub-weapons, special weapons, and abilities nullify that. The abilities come from the customization stores have for you. Eventually, when you have enough experience after every match, you will gain up to 4 abilities if you have the proper material to do so. Now that the best part of Splatoon is out of the way, I was wondering, is there more to the game? My first thought was that the game would be $40 with an online and offline experience. Now there is an offline battle mode called Battle Dojo. One person uses the gamepad while the other uses the Pro Controller. Here's the kicker though, the way to win this mode is to shoot as many balloons before the timer runs out. It would have been much better to battle a friend locally with at least AIs as your teammates, but better than nothing, I guess. The last mode I should give mention to is the single player campaign. The old man Captain Cuttlefish warns us of the Octarians. This is as simple as it sounds. Defeat them and win. Is the story important? Not even a chance for me to care. But I do like the scrolls you get describing the Inklings' origins. Gameplay-wise, single player is a simple shoot-'em-up with platforming elements. However, I absolutely love the creativity they put in these levels. Second, with the enemies that affect your ink. You know, I'm getting Super Mario Galaxy vibes from this, more so than Super Mario Sunshine. I find that kind of odd. Not sure if it's from the launch pads or the planetoids. All of this could be found within the hub world of Splatoon, Inkopolis. It caters to all of the clothing stores with abilities. There is Spike the Sea Urchin, you can buy equipment from other players, and then of course you got the Inkling Sisters every time you boot up the game. They let you know whenever a new level is currently available for multiplayer, but these two overstay their welcome a bit. Yeah, stage rotation. Every 4 hours, 2 levels will alternate with another for you to play on in multiplayer. I don't mind the 4-hour rotation, it gives us more of a reason to go back to the game, but having to play a certain level over several times in a row gets really old really fast. I know I haven't been 100% decided on things given to me from the start. You see, the main appeal of Splatoon, that is Turf Wars, is addicting, pushing that whole stage rotation aside. Single player is unique enough to be its own thing, but it lasts for about 3 hours just completing it. And of course, Battle Dojo and Amiibo challenges require certain hardware that's separate to the game. Here's the hardest part for me to come by though. Bear with me because this connects to the whole price drop scenario. Is Splatoon worth the $60? This is coming from someone who doesn't currently have a job, but my answer really depends. There's not enough stages, single player isn't too long, the soundtrack is even minimal. Nothing bad or anything, the soundtrack itself is great, I just wish there was more of it. On the other hand though, we were promised free DLC back in the Splatoon Direct, so no matter how much you pay for Splatoon, today, next month, next year, if you buy this for $60 or even less, I have Nintendo's assurance that this would make the game feel more complete once the DLC arrives. I mean, the thought of it was to bring more stages, features, modes, and weapons in the summer. The gameplay and visuals are great, however, don't feel cheated if you think this is all you get. I'd say pay for it now, see how addicted you'll get into it, and in high hopes the DLC can make it even better. Maybe in the future I'll go back to this and see if it actually paid off in the long run. Even as a new IP, the concept definitely had my interest and seems to be selling well for any Wii U owner's summer game. We can only hope Nintendo makes more new IPs in the future. With that said guys, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all whenever.